Hello, English learners. Welcome to Camlish.com. I am Teacher Mela, and let's study the book Small Group Discussion Topics for Korean Students by Jack Martyr. This book is a modern approach to fluency in English. So, what are we waiting for? Let's now begin. And now, we will continue discussing Unit 1, and it's about Korea then and now. Let's take a look at these pictures. This phone booth would have been jammed with people in the 1980s. Today, nobody needs them. Next one. Places like this didn't exist in Korea in the 1980s. There's McDonald's. And the other one, the 69-story Samsung Tower Palace town in Seoul. Very high building, right? Alright, before we read the article, let's take a look at first the words and phrases. First one, be jammed. It means crowded. A life happened all the time, day after day. It was very normal. Stand idle, be unused. Undercrowd, anybody who is less than 30 years of age. Primarily of, mostly for the convenience of. Every conceivable, everyone that anybody can think of. And skyscraper, a very tall building, usually for offices or commercial use. So now let's read the article. Keeping appointments and contracting people in 1980s, Korea was a nightmare. There were no cell phones and no beepers. So if you were sitting in a taxi or a bus stuck in a traffic somewhere, you had no way to let your friend or family member know you'd be late. Missed appointments were a way of life in the 80s. Many people didn't even have home phones, and there was a long waiting list to have a phone installed. So, the only way to contact anybody was by using a public payphone. There were always long lines of people waiting at public phone booths. Today, they stand idle because almost everyone has a cell phone. Today's under 30 crowd might starve to death if they had to live in the 1980s. That's because there were no fast food restaurants in Korea. Those didn't start to enter Korea until the year of the Olympics in 1988. And that was primarily for the benefit of all the foreigners who would be visiting Korea. Today, every conceivable foreign fast food chain plus some Korean ones can be found all over Korea. Few apartment buildings in the 1980s were higher than 9 stories because that's as high as fire truck ladders could reach. The ones being built today are 30 to 70-story skyscrapers. Amazing, right? So, that's all for today. I invite you to have fun while learning English. Again, this is Teacher Mela from Camlish.com. See you next time. Goodbye.